Joining us now is a man who not only has won and is happy, but is seemingly the perfect man for the job that he is currently holding.
Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the newest head coach at the University of Michigan, an offensive coordinator who out-schemed everybody in college football this last year, Sherrone Moore.
Yeah, coach!
Thank you for joining us, man. This is really cool that you're taking time out of your recruiting visit to chit-chat with us. Congrats on the job, and thank you for the time, Sherrone.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on the road here, but excited.
Okay, so, Coach, we all just assumed you were going to be the head coach if Harbaugh was to leave because of how you performed this past season whenever you were filling in for him late in the season. Now, during those 3 games that you got to be the head job guy, was it a moment in there where you're like, I could be a head coach? Or, I want to be a head coach? Or when did it really strike you that being a head coach, maybe even at Michigan, could have been a reality for you, Coach?
Yeah, really. During that 3-game stretch, my main focus was trying to do everything I could to prepare myself, prepare the players to get ready to win those games. Wasn't really thinking about the future. Was really thinking about what we could do to win those games. And wasn't really a time that I thought I could be a head coach at Michigan. I think that's always the goal in every coach's mind and most coaches' mind to be a head coach. So there wasn't really a moment, but I can tell you after winning that last one, it was pretty special. And it was something that I dreamed about being the head coach at Michigan at some point.
We saw you get emotional afterwards and give love to Harbaugh and give love to Michigan and give love to your teammates or to the players. And then you heard all the players pouring support into you. And it's like the perfect situation seemingly for Michigan. How have you dealt with the transition from Harbaugh to you? How have you addressed it with the players? And you're obviously out on the road recruiting. What type of questions are you being asked about your philosophies as opposed to Coach Harbaugh's?
Yeah, the biggest thing people want to know is how am I going to run the program compared to Coach? I'm going to run it my way, and we're still going to be tough. We're still going to be smart. We're going to be dependable. We're going to be relentless in everything we do. Continue the enthusiasm. The energy for me is a big piece of it. I want to be someone that the kids can rely on. They can be a vessel for. Be very open with them. My philosophy in coaching is I coach hard, but I love harder. So they're going to feel that. So, the program and how we've done it and how we've built it is going to be the same. There's going to be bits and pieces that is me. I'm going to be me. I can't be Coach. Don't want to be Coach. Coach is his own person. I love him. I got mad love for him and always will and respect him. I've learned so much from him. But I'm going to run the program my way.
Hell yeah, Coach. Go ahead, AJ. Ohio State Buckeye legend here. AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I think you seem very comfortable in that role and also honoring Coach Harbaugh and everything you did when you stepped in. What are some of the things that you make that may be similar from Coach Harbaugh that you might carry over into the program?
Yeah, the toughness, the blue-collar mentality, how hard we work on the field, off the field, the academic standard, everything we do, we're definitely going to present ourselves in a high-class manner. We're going to continue to do that the exact same way. As far as a football team, you want to keep that as similar as possible. The results speak for themselves, so we want to continue to play at that high level with that physicality, with that toughness, and do everything, in that manner. But things on a day-to-day basis might be a little different, and as we go, we'll figure out what those things are.
Speaking about things being a little bit different, we're hearing about the old guard almost trying to get out of college football because of the new NIL and the new way that you have to kind of do things. It doesn't seem like you've had to do a lot of this, and we might be wrong, but recruiting your own players every single year and then recruiting and NIL and dealing with the no guardrails. And obviously Michigan the last couple of years has had punishments against them that no other schools have had, and the NCAA is still looming at all times. It's like now for you, you're only going to know this era of football, of NIL football, of how it's all going to go. How are you balancing it all? Has there been like a sit down for you to break down how the NIL works with Michigan, how it's all going to go, who you have at your disposal? Like, how do you handle this new era that seemingly the old guard is trying to get away from?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned about the NIL era throughout the time here and try to be involved in listening and knowing what's going on, but the official sit-downs haven't really happened yet. I mean, I've been, got the job and ready to get on the road. So, I'd say for first-time head coach, I tell people like the first couple of days in comparison, it's -4 on, it's 3rd and 12 on the -4 yard line and it's zero pressure. You got to figure out what to do with the ball. And it's becoming more of 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, more manageable. And I think every single day, it'll help you get ahead of the change. That's what I'm going to try to do every single day. And as far as the NIL piece, it's something that's there. It's something that you got to address, something that you got to attack, and you got to have a plan. And the plan that I think that we should have in place, we're going to start to implement, and hopefully that'll keep us where we need to be in college football.
All the distinguished Michigan alum love that you're the head coach.
Oh, yeah.
Love everything that you guys have built. Obviously, it's not the same in some other places. So congrats on getting a head start seemingly on the pop and the positivity. I don't know if you heard it. Coach Saban joined us every single week this season. And after losing to you guys in the Rose Bowl, he said that was the first time we saw a team in a huddle. That was the first time we saw a team in a huddle all year. And we got to be on the field for your last 2 games. And obviously, AJ played 12 years in the NFL. He'll say only 11. All-time leading tackler for the Packers. Darius J. Butler was with us. He played 9 years in the NFL. And we were watching you just out-scheme Bama. Like, there was guys wide open. They were confused. A lot of finger pointing. It's like, I think you showcased a massive football IQ when it comes to calling plays on the offensive side, let alone going back to Penn State where you run it 32 straight times and say, let's get this entire win. Are you still calling plays? And how have you developed as a play caller and as an offensive strategist, as we lose you, and you're back? How have you developed, do you think, to get to this point?
Yeah, as a play caller, haven't thought about, I've thought about, but going back and forth as far as the play calling piece, we'll appoint an OC here soon, and we'll talk about that. But as developing as a play caller, that's taken a long time. It hasn't just been this year. It's been years and years. I've got to sit alongside some really good play callers. Sean Watson when we were at Louisville with Teddy Bridgewater. Being around Kevin Wilson when he was at Oklahoma with Sam Bradford as a player. Being around Morse Watts when I was at Central Michigan, somebody that's been in the game for a long time. And then, Josh Gaddis here, Pep Hamilton here, Coach Harbaugh. Like, it's been something that it's allowed me to develop my own style. And, I mean, we have a phenomenal staff, so it's not just me. I'm just the one that pushes the go button on game day. But we've developed a great plan, and it's really all about our players and what they can do. And we've got really smart players, so we can do a lot and make it look like a lot, and sometimes it not be a lot. And I think our kids just believe in the plan and go attack our plan full throttle.
Yeah, I think it worked. I think it worked, Coach. Speaking of Coach, Chuck Pagano has a question for you, Sherrone.
Coach, congratulations on the job. Big fan of Michigan. My nephew Carlo Kemp played there. You probably know Carlo, obviously, but I know you've had some transition there. I see where Jesse Minter is going to go with Jim over to L.A. Have you replaced Jesse? Is there a guy on the staff that you're going to elevate, and is the rest of your offense and defensive staff pretty much status quo, staying in place?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't replaced the defense coordinator yet. We've got a few names and people in the boat to do that, and we've got a great staff. We got great people here on the staff that we're trying to keep. We're going to try to retain, and so the staff is starting to shape out bit by bit every day. And I think by next week or so, we'll have that in place.
Congrats on that. That's not easy, finding the right people that fit the culture. Speaking of that, Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, obviously you want to find the Michigan men that you're looking for, and you just said earlier on, you coach hard and you love even harder, but when you're looking for those players, how do you know when a player can take that hard coaching? Because obviously now there's been talk about how it's difficult to coach guys hard because now there are options where they can leave and take other deals. So how do you find those players, and what characteristic do those guys have that others might not, that you look for specifically?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. That's a great question because I don't think, obviously you can't see that on film. You can't see that even in one conversation. It's building a deep relationship with the kid, with the coaches, with their families to see how they've been raised, how their parents raised them, how do the parents talk to them. There's a whole bunch of different factors. So there's not really one. It's very hard to pinpoint it. I think the relationship just has to really grow deep so you can figure out what type of kid he is. If he loves to be coached hard, if he wants to be coached hard, and then if he loves football. So we always tell guys, if you love football, you'll love playing here.
Whenever you hear the term Michigan man, and I think I saw in the parade you were asked about, like, hopefully one day I'll be able to earn the title of being a Michigan man. And then when I got to talk to Coach Harbaugh at the national championship, he said, whenever I'm dead and they throw dirt on me, Well, dirt on the wood, I guess. He corrected himself. Yeah, he corrected himself. And then he said, if they say he was a damn good Michigan man, that'll be enough for me. I assume that's a big piece of your recruiting and trying to uphold the Michigan man title, I would assume, Coach?
Yeah, for sure. We want people that want to be Michigan men. It's a united front, a brotherhood, tough, blue collar, hardworking, that do everything the right way in any way possible for the person next to them. And it's a brotherhood that's really unbroken, and excited that hopefully one day I can be that.
Yeah, you are, pal. Okay. Anytime you got Saban's entire coaching staff going, we don't know what the hell they're doing in the Rose Bowl, I think you've earned that title immediately. Tone Diggs has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, I think you're known best for your O-lines. A couple Joe Moore award-winning O-lines, and then a top 2 O-line this year, I think, as far as the award goes, and that's kind of where you started. I assume as a head coach, you're going to continue to be. Is that where your focus is going to be? And I know there's a lot of turnover this year. So is that kind of a refreshing feeling that after the national championship and your first head coaching experience here with the team is going to be kind of some new blood on both sides?
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. We knew that we're going to have an influx of guys that leave the program, and we knew that we'd have a chance to be really good this year. You never know how good, but the players proved to be really good, and very excited about the guys we have behind them, and think we have a really good group behind them, ready to go and ready to compete and ready to go and try to do it again.
Speaking of that, Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, obviously being the head coach at Michigan, there's going to be pressure no matter what. It's not like people expect you to only win, 6 games next year and it'll be all hunky-dory and that's okay. So do you feel like there's quite a bit more pressure, not only being your first year, but obviously coming off the national championship? Or is it one of those things where, hey, as long as you guys get the job done, and obviously if you continue to beat Ohio State, you're going to be a hero regardless. So, how much pressure do you just feel kind of internally, considering you guys are coming off, your first national championship in quite some time?
Yeah, try really not to look at the future too much and what's going to happen, and really focus on today, because you can't really control it. So trying to worry about and stress about what's going to happen next year or next game, it's not going to put us in a great position, program me to be in that to be where we need to be. So just really focusing on the day, and that's it.
How'd you get into coaching? I don't think I did enough research on this entire thing. How'd you get into this whole gig?
Yeah, so I started at I was from Derby, went to Derby High School in Kansas, went to junior college at Butler County, shout out Bucco, and then went to Oklahoma. And really right after Oklahoma, I wanted to get into coaching. I knew I wanted to coach, and I jumped in. I became a graduate assistant the next year at the University of Louisville, and was there for 5 years. And was there my first year with Steve Kragthorpe, for the next 4 with Charlie Strong, 2 as a GA, and then 2 as a tight end coach there, and then went from there.
From JUCO to the head man at Michigan. Let's go, Sherrone.
You can accomplish anything if you put your mind to it. Apparently, if you go to JUCO, you can do that.
Hell yeah. And not just that, with the right mentality, you can accomplish absolutely anything. It sounds like you're finding guys that are going to do that for you at Michigan. Congrats on all the success. We're happy you're the guy. We're going to bring AJ Hawk back in here. I don't know if you know exactly how many lives you guys have ruined in Ohio the last 3 years, but here's one of them. Let's keep that going, Coach, all right? Let's keep that going.
Appreciate it.
Hey,
Much respect to you.
Hey, respect. We watching you guys play in person. I said multiple times, they got some dudes over there. You guys, especially offense, defense, you guys try to set the tone and you do it. So yeah, it was very impressive to watch. I wanted to ask about your strength coach, Ben Herbert. I know Coach Harbaugh, I guess, is taking him with him to the Chargers, and we know strength coaches spend so much time with your players and develop the guys. How big of a loss is that going to be, and what's the plan in place for strength and conditioning?
Yeah, I think anytime when you lose somebody that's been with you, he's been there since I've been there for 6 years, so he's definitely put his footprints and handprints on the program. But it's going to be a loss. But we think the guy that we elevated, Justin Tress, is going to do an unbelievable job. He's been with them side by side this whole time. He's had stints there. He had stints at Alabama, so he's seen really top-notch strength coaches in his time. So we're really excited about Justin Tress and the opportunity for him to lead the strength program. And those guys are awesome. That whole group he has, they all wear black. They all travel together. If you see one of them, you see all 5 of them. So we're excited about the future with those guys.
Hey, staying in house seems to be the right play in this modern era, especially if you got a lot of great people in the building. Hiring is a difficult process. You're in the middle of all that. The way you describe your team, and I was never somebody that was going to be accepted to Michigan ever. Okay, academically, and they were never going to say, you know what, let's go to Plumboro, Pennsylvania, and get this guy into Michigan. But AJ, I think the reason why he said what he said was because as we were watching your team, hey, dogs, dude, just like absolute dogs. And you say the first thing you're looking for is like blue collar guys. Is there, just for me, as somebody that might not fully understand, is there a plethora of super smart blue-collar guys still out there in 2024 coming out of high school? That's a real question.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a plethora, but there's enough. There's enough out there that will do it, and we're going to go find them.
Yeah. All right, well, that's hope for society. I got hope for society then, Coach. We appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the way, pal.
All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
Hey, congrats on the natty. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of Michigan, Sherrone Moore.
Yay, Coach!